Welcome to the O Brother Podcast with hosts Dan and Mike Smith, brothers from the same mother with different opinions on movies, TV, video games, and more, plus celebrity interviews. Get ready, get set. It's time for the O Brother Podcast. Ansley Gordon, welcome to the O Brother Podcast. Normally, there's two of us, as the intro says, but as you can see, it's just me.
Well, either way, I am thankful to be here. Thank you for having me, Dan.
Well, we're excited to have you. But all right, without further ado, I will bring in my lovely co-host and brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. Wow.
Hey.
I am so sorry, Ansley. I'm so sorry.
You are totally fine. You were
It's
totally
never
fine.
happened before.
I told her that you were freaking out, but I was loving this. It's like every episode he brings some gem to the table unexpectedly.
Could you hear me going crazy?
In my mind, yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, enough about.
And I was emailing Ansley. I just knew you were in a total panic on the other side of the.
I was,
yeah.
And I think my adapter, my Ethernet adapter died. So I'm on Wi-Fi.
Because that happens every day.
Right. Yeah.
It's
wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Let's
okay. Should we get on with the show here?
Yeah, please.
Out of respect for Ansley's time. The first and only appearance of Ansley Gordon on the O Brother.
Oh, stop! But don't stop. It's too early to say. I'll circle back.
Oh my God! So there is so much to talk about. Like we've done a handful of interviews now, and a few of the folks that we've spoken to, they're involved in so many. I think you have to have the most plate spinning of anyone we've talked to so far. Like, I don't even know where, which of the 19 projects are we going to promote while we talk to you tonight?
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's how I describe it to my husband too. Like, this is my compression armband. I also have a wrist thing for my carpal tunnel and my cubital tunnel and my pinched nerve. And my doctor's like, you can only write for an hour and a half a day.
Oh, that must kill you.
Well, and he's like, you have to get better because I lose feeling in my hands, like when I put on my mascara, when I wash my face from the pinched nerve, and then it's made worse by the typing.
Wow.
And so I got this diagnosis like a month ago, and I just bought the band, and I just stopped writing like yesterday.
Oh wow! And you do a lot of writing because a lot of the stuff you're in, you've written. So
yeah,
that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm trying to do minimal, like only very much what's right now the plate that can't hit the ground. Do that. Right.
I don't know which one that is.
No, we again want to talk about all the projects and things that you've got going on, but I thought the most important thing that we should start off talking about is now, of course, you're married to the beautiful, lovely, ginger-haired Brian, right?
Brian Balser.
Oh my God.
Isn't he so handsome?
Oh God, this guy's hair. Like there's Conan and there's Brian. Like it's a close race there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But wow, what a ginger this guy is.
I know. Yeah. And I'm really hoping when we have kids that we pass it on. I'm like, I am so dark. I don't know if we will.
Now is it blue eyes, green eyes?
Blue eyes.
Blue eyes. Wow.
Bright blue eyes. He is so handsome.
Well,
and we've been married. We've been together almost 8 years, and we've been married 4 years. And I still think he's just the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounds like Dan's going to steal him away from you.
I can introduce you.
Absolutely. In fact, bring him in. No. So
he's on his way home.
Now, you're living in LA, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you have 2 kids, Jasper and Remy.
We have
is that right?
Cats.
Well, but we refer to them as kids.
They
right?
are. Yeah. They have health insurance, so yeah, they're basically kids. Yes,
feline kids.
They're our fur.
So tell us the story now. Did I say it right? Is it Jasper and Remy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you? Because I went through your entire Instagram feed, like literally what does it go back to like 2012? I think
probably. Yeah.
I looked at every post you've ever. Yeah. maybe that was a little too much information, but
was there anything interesting?
there was, and we're going to get to some of that. But, Mike and I are cat lovers. I currently have a black cat named Shadow that is somewhere running around here. You'll probably hear in a little while, but I saw how in love you were with these two cats, of course.
Yeah.
Now, is it Jasper did you just get Jasper a little bit more recently, or what?
No.
So what's the story of the two?
So I moved to LA. I was 22. I had a meltdown when I moved here, and I called my mom and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I made a mistake, but it's going to cost more money for me to like get my car back to Florida. So I guess I have to stay, and I don't have any money. What do I do? And she was like, go adopt an animal. Not an animal, a cat. Go get a cat. And I come from a family, we've always had cats, but they were outdoor cats. They like lived in our screened-in porch because my dad's super allergic. So this was like my first time having a litter box. But I don't know if it was the universe or God or whatever, but there were definitely closer shelters than the one that I ended up going to.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a high kill shelter in the sketchiest part of like downtown LA. And they had countdowns of like when the animal was going to be euthanized if it wasn't adopted.
Wow.
And Jasper was almost 11 weeks old. And so he wasn't the 6-week-old kitten. And so he wasn't as desirable as the little tiny baby kittens. And I saw him and his countdown had like 9 days or something crazy. And I said to the guy, I was like, I'll take him. I'll take that cat. And he was
Is that the big orange one now?
No, that's the gray one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The orange one has a funny story. My husband picked him out.
Funny.
Okay. It's starting to make sense.
Yep. So also I just got Invisalign. So if I sound weird, still getting used to it.
You sound great.
Sorry. Thank you. I feel like I have a little bit of a lisp, but my lip keeps getting caught on the top of it, but we're just rolling with it. So the guy was like, do you want to hold the cat first? And I was like, sure, but like take the countdown off. He's coming home. So what I didn't know was I wasn't allowed to take him home that day. He had to get fixed, and I didn't get to pick what vet he went to. So that was like Friday. I showed up on Tuesday at this vet that they told me to go to. I'm pretty sure it was half vet, half human hospital. And they just handed me Jasper, like handed me this kitten with like stitches on his belly. And he was sick and like had kitten cold or pound cough or whatever. And you know how like when you go to a vet, if you don't have a carrier, they'll put it in like the little box with little holes and it has a little top.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They just handed me Jasper.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't have anything to take this animal home in.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went out to my car. I got a reusable Target bag. I came back. I was like, just set him in here. And I like held it open. I'm like, hang in there, buddy. We just got to get back to Hollywood. And so like, set him in my car, and he was roaming around while I was driving on the 101 back. It was insane.
That is probably the universe.
Yeah. He probably felt much the way you did when you first got to LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get
and
me
so
out of here.
this was like 6 days later or 8 days later. This is like right after I got here. So we've been together my whole time. He's my guy. I call him my first love.
Now, I did the same thing. I moved to San Diego, and I was by myself, and I had the same kind of like anxious anxiety.
Yeah.
And there was a girl living in an apartment complex next to me, and she was moving out, and she just left her cat and left. So some guy knocks on my door and says, we've seen you out petting the cats. Can you take this one? I was like, I can't take it. And I took her in. I had her for 23 years.
Wow.
She just, a couple of years ago, she faded off, but 23 years. And I keep thinking what would have happened if I said no, or it was a very busy street. I don't know if you know San Diego. Do you know the zoo?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's right on the street of the zoo.
Oh.
So there's all sorts of traffic and it's crazy.
Well, I'm glad.
But they're a lifesaver.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Jasper is my man. And then right after we got married, my husband had never had a pet that he had Jasper, but Jasper was like 6 or 8 months when we first started dating. So he wasn't like a baby.
Yeah.
And my husband was like, I'd love a kitten. I was like, you literally never have to say that sentence to me twice. I actually already found one on Instagram. So let's go.
Yeah.
And because a friend of a friend had found a litter under a porch. And so we went and met the only one that was left, which was Remy. Bonded with my husband, and he was like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll take it. And I'm like, it's just a coincidence that you guys look exactly the same.
That's fine.
They're the best. Now they get mani-pedis, right? I mean, you're
Oh yeah.
they get the full spa treatment.
Yes.
So now, do you do that yourself, or do you take
I sure do. And
Do
we
you
call
really?
we call it mani-pedi. We have to burrito Remy. Jasper's pretty good. He'll just like sit and he'll let me
Yeah.
do each one. But Remy, you have to
Wow.
burrito and then go in there with like quick and have the
Yes.
treat as a distraction.
Yeah, I have them come to do. It's like a
Oh.
mobile service that
Yeah.
comes to do shadows.
He can't
And-
even pick up his cat yet. He's
No,
had
I
it 2
can.
years.
She's warming up to me, but she the last time she got her nails done, it was actually the one that owns the company that showed up. And she came in my living room and she picked her up and she was and then Shadow just went like, I'm not having this. And just started going at her, ripped her smock and all of this. I'm like, she
Oh.
never does this. And
Yeah.
she had like blood in her hands. I'm like, okay, it's like a horror film. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But the last girl that came out was like, nah, no problem. Took her 2 minutes, boom, 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 done.
That's great.
But I would love to get to that point. I don't know.
Yeah. Have you
Did they-
watched that new documentary on Netflix, The Secret Life of Cats? Secret Mind of
No.
Cats? Inside the Mind of Cats? I'm butchering this. But it's about like how cats' brains work and like how to make your cat like you more.
Mm.
Yeah.
That sounds about
Interesting.
right. Yeah, that sounds about right. So now your origin story. So you're born in what, Hotlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you-
so impressed.
Yeah, you're born in Atlanta, but you're only there till you're about 3,
Yep.
and then you come to the Sunshine State where I am.
Oh, what part?
I'm in Winter Garden.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. My parents
Yeah.
are also in Orlando, or like
Yeah, about 10
Orlando
minutes
area.
from Disney.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to talk to you about that because Mike lived here before I did. That's one of the reasons I moved down here years ago. Was he was already here.
Got it.
So you come here at the age of 3, and you got to tell us about the Wizard of Oz production.
Yeah,
First of
we're
all,
like, what,
we were
what
sitting there
part
saying,
did she
what?
play?
Yeah, were you a tree? Were you in the Lollipop Guild? What was the deal there?
So I have told the story so many times, so I'm sorry to any listener who has heard me tell this. I'll try to make it condensed. My dance studio partnered with this regional theater, and they needed kids to play Munchkins and Poppies, and they wanted kids with stage presence. So they went through the dance studio. And so my age group at 4, they only wanted us on stage for a minimal amount of time. So they got to be the Poppies and the older kids got to be the Munchkins. And I, being the entrepreneurial spirit that I am, saw that the Munchkins got more stage time. So I asked the director if I could be a Munchkin instead. And he was so charmed by it and said yes. And I got cast in the show. And I wasn't cast as a Munchkin. I was cast as a freaking Poppy. And I went up to the director and was like, man, we had a deal here. And he was like, okay, you can be a Munchkin, but you have to be a Poppy too for numbers. And so I did that show, and I was the youngest Munchkin, and I was looking at these other kids who were like not in it. They were like not acting. They were following Glenda around and picking up glitter. They were waving to their mom. They like didn't want to be on. And I'm like, what, guys, this is an opportunity. You are a Munchkin.
And you're 4.
And I'm 4. And I'm like correcting. And I was the girl like at the ballet recitals. I'd be correcting the other dancers when they did it wrong. My parents have this on video.
So do you still
Personality.
remember this? Or do you remember it from video?
I vividly remember being on stage and Glenda being here and it being in this like beautiful theater, and the kid in front of me, it was a little boy that I didn't like, and him picking up glitter, or like this, they were like star-shaped little things. And I remember looking at the stars and looking at him and be like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Wow.
I'm taking over here.
Now,
Yeah.
did you even know what Wizard of Oz was at that point?
No,
You hadn't seen it, right?
no,
Yeah.
I just
Now-
knew that I loved attention.
Now, did you experience the great movie ride at what was then, I guess, MGM Studios?
Oh yeah.
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 Okay, so yeah, because it was that awesome
Yeah.
with the witch and the Wizard of Oz and all.
Yeah, that was
great.
about the
I thought-
only thing good about that ride was the animatronic witch.
Yeah.
I always liked that.
Yeah.
So where does it go from there?
Yeah,
So
like it. Go ahead,
So
I'm
then I
sorry.
turned 5.
right. And I got,
We
yes.
only, let's see, we
I
have,
got my
okay.
book deal. Sorry, I'm going to try to scoot out of the sun. So I made that worse.
That happened to me last time.
Sorry.
There it is.
So I, after that, kept dancing and doing like small things. And then that director was doing another show and it was The King and I, and they couldn't find anybody to play the daughter. So they called my parents and said, we would like Ansley to audition for the youngest child because we remember her, we liked her, whatever. And that to me meant I had the job. My dad was like, no, you have to audition for the job. I'm like, this is mine. So, and it was, and I did it. And after that, I was 9 when I did that one. And I started to get really serious about how do I get auditions? How do I get an agent? I think I was in 7th grade when I started doing more of that. I got my first agent though when I was 16, and my grandma took me to my first audition, my first like real big job. And there was no, I guess I was younger than that because I couldn't drive. And she didn't have AC in her car. And there's nothing like a Florida summer with no AC.
Oh my God.
And I have hyperhidrosis. So my hands and feet are always sweaty. I'm sweaty hands. And so I was like just trying not to touch anything because I didn't want to disintegrate my headshot, I'm like walking into this audition. And I didn't book the job. It was for the lead of this movie called The Sacred. That's on Tubi now.
Yes.
I didn't book that one because I was way too young, but I got a call back and they wrote me a small role and I got to work on it and I got to miss school to do this like SAG movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, could you be in the union at that age? You must be, right?
I didn't join. Yeah, you could have. Yeah. But I didn't join until I moved to LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was 2016, right? SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah.
So I told you.
Wow.
So, and when did you,
good.
was that when you moved did you go from Florida right to California?
Yes. Okay. I moved right before the holidays in 2014.
Okay.
Now take us a little bit still in Florida. And we won't hold this against you, but what's the decision that brings you to Gainesville to be a Gator? And why did you not become a Tar and go to Rollins in Winter Park?
Rollins was too expensive.
Yes, it was.
Joe Biden helped us out hopefully a little.
Yeah. I have a very weird college experience. So I didn't think I was going to go to college. I didn't think that I would get into college. I had a 4.0 GPA and was, top 20 in my high school class, but like didn't take it seriously, like it wasn't something that I wasn't the kid that studied. So, and I'm the oldest of 4. And so my parents had never done this. And so they didn't know. And so a friend of mine, his mom helped me apply. And so I applied to UF, UCF, and FSU. I got into UF, I got waitlisted at FSU, and I got into UCF. And the way I found out that I got into UF was they called and said, what are you going to do about housing? Like you have to apply for housing now because we're almost out of dorm spots. We want to make sure that you can apply. And I was like, what
are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? And they were like, oh, check your portal. So I checked my portal. I got in. I asked my dad, I was like, so I got into UF, and he was like, call them just to make sure. Cause they like, didn't know that, because it's such an interesting thing being the oldest of 4. And now my baby sister is a senior at UF in nursing school. My middle sister is getting her master's at UF right now. And she did her undergrad there as well. And so like, they know now, and they would like wait on, is it the day that you get in, but they didn't know when it was my turn. And so, so I got in, I did the like typical college thing for the first year. I accidentally joined a sorority. I didn't rush. I got a SNAP bid. My second semester, I did it for half a semester and was like, this is neat, but this takes up a lot of time. And I want to act.
Right.
So I didn't stick with the sorority. And then by my sophomore year of college, I was auditioning a lot. I was driving Orlando, Miami, Atlanta. I had reps in Orlando, Atlanta, and Miami. And so I was driving around everywhere. And so that was my sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. We're really hitting hard because I knew I wanted to move to either LA or New York. And so I was trying to get as much under my belt as I could before I graduated.
You know, the interesting thing about Central Florida is, you know, Disney built the movie studio and Universal, and they were starting to call it Hollywood East. And then we find out it was really just a scam to build a couple of theme parks.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't much work. Well, I mean,
Well,
there is
it's
work,
changing. I think there's a lot of work now in
Is
Florida.
there?
This year I filmed 5
Yes.
movies and
Wow.
4 of them were in Florida.
Right.
Wow.
And I know that at least 1 or 2 of those you were working with Britt Underwood, is that right?
Yes, do you know
Okay.
Britt?
Well, Britt, as you know, Britt is so busy.
Yep.
And so we haven't been able to like align our schedules, but
Great. I'm
we're
gonna text her right now.
yes.
I'm gonna blow her up.
And
'Cause
tell her that
literally my last text from her, or her last text that I got from her was at 1:42 today. We don't go 12 hours without
Oh,
talking.
no kidding.
Yeah.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, I was curious of that relationship. Like, how did you guys meet each other? And you know, what's the working relationship been like? But yeah, we're looking to have her on the show too. So put in a good word if you
I
will.
just did. I just texted. Just
Nice.
texted her.
Excellent.
So I learned about Brittany through internet stalking people who did what I wanted to do, and she was doing what I wanted to do, which was soaps and Christmas movies and that kind of thing. So I had been low-key stalking her on the internet for like a year before we met.
That's how we got to talk.
Yeah, and I
You
was not.
must
What?
no, I was gonna say, you must know some of the other we've had Cindy Busby on, we've had, Carissa Lee Staples on. Do you know her?
I know Carissa through Britt.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we kinda get a hold of somebody and then go all through the network.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get
But
Britt
yeah.
on. Britt is gonna
Yes.
be on.
All right, good, good, you'll help us.
I will.
But it sounds like you were bitten by the bug early. You knew you
Mhm.
wanted to act. And
Yeah,
that seems
after
to
the
be the
Wizard of Oz.
thing.
Yeah.
Like at 3,
No, I
you're like,
literally
"I'm
went
gonna
up to my
go."
dad and said, "I'm gonna be an actor."
Wow.
And he was like, "Okay."
Now, do you think that's partly why you know, college wasn't so much at the forefront of your mind because you were already following that dream I mean, at a very young age, obviously, but
Yeah. I mean, I think I
yeah.
always knew I was gonna go to college in some capacity. I just thought it was going to be a community college. I didn't
Mhm.
know that I was gonna go to like a real university. I didn't know that was I wasn't set up. I didn't have infrastructure for that.
Mhm.
Which is so funny because my mom did the regular 4-year and my dad did 2 years at a community college before going to a 4-year. So like, it's not like they didn't, anyway. I think that I knew that acting was always going to be the thing that I wanted to do at the end of the day, but I didn't know of any. I didn't apply to like Juilliard or Tisch or
Mhm.
any of the places that now looking back on it, I would like. I just applied to the Juilliard extension program for both screenwriting and acting because I do want to go do that version of this because I don't feel the theater program at UF. I was a theater major for 1 semester. Did not have a good experience, ended up switching to PR, which was great because it allowed me to work professionally and they didn't dock me for missing classes. Some of my professors actually filmed their lectures before this was like a normal thing for me to go shoot things like Liberty or All the Devils Are Here. And so I didn't miss out on opportunities.
Nice.
So I got very lucky, but I did not get like the conservatory training or I didn't get the showcase experience. Like I didn't get what a normal theater education would provide. And if I could do it again, I definitely would go that route.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
things happen for a reason. So, you
Of
know,
course. Yeah.
the universe again, like Mike said earlier. So circle back to your stalking. I mean, your relationship and working with Brittany because it leads into some of your current projects too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got cast in a movie in January and we hadn't met in person and she followed me on Instagram. And I said to my husband, I was like, oh my God, I think Brittany Underwood is directing this movie. And he was like, who is Brittany Underwood? I'm like,
Shame on you.
yeah, I'm like, she's this girl that I've been following on the internet. And so then we got on a Zoom call because she was directing it and I was starring in it. We got on a Zoom call to meet. And it was one of those days where I was on deadline for like multiple projects as a writer. And I don't know if she knew I was a writer at this time. But I like didn't have like today, like I'm wearing my sports bra and my armband and my hair is up. Like I just didn't have time to get as press ready as I'd like. It was like this, but worse. I was wearing a sweatshirt with sketches of boobs on it that under it said, "You're the tits." And I didn't realize I was wearing the sweatshirt until I turned on the Zoom and she was already there. So it was too late.
That's
Yeah, but
funny.
for her, something tells me it was love at first sight.
It literally was. It was. And I'm not saying it was the boob sweatshirt, but maybe it was.
That just puts you over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's nice to have somebody like that, though, you know,
Yeah.
and to connect with, and then make, you know, you're part of their network, they're part of your network. That's
Yeah.
great.
And Brittany and I work really well together creatively. We just developed a series together that just we're going through the paperwork process with a studio right now, and so we have a shorthand of creativity, and we had a little bit of a tiff over one of the characters in the script, and it was like how you would talk to your husband is how Brittany and I had to talk to each other. Of like, I know you're saying this, but it's making me feel like you're saying this. And if you want me to do this, I need you to say it this way. And she's like, got it. So you're saying this, and it's making me feel like this. And I was like, oh, got it. Like it was like a couples.
Right. Couples therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. But like we call each other work wives. And we did a movie together that she directed and I started in a couple of months ago, and I like properly proposed to her with all of her favorite junk food.
Nice.
Yeah. What is the deal? I mean, is she in a 12-step program for the snack addiction, or what's up with that?
I don't know, but I am also a giant
Are you?
snacker, and that is, but I'm a little bit of a healthy snacker. I put my green juice in a koozie. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
but I'm always snacking on some kind of thing until I got Invisalign. That makes you not snack. And my first like 5 days of having Invisalign, I couldn't get them out because I have so many buttons on my teeth, and so I wasn't snacking. So my blood sugar was dipping, and I was angry. It was awful. Anyway, Brittany is the snack queen, and I'm the snack princess.
She is.
Now, did you get, because you have a lot in the, I don't know, you know, ready to come out.
Yeah.
Did you get backed up during COVID, or how did COVID affect you?
COVID launched my TV movie career. Like
Really?
Yeah. I had not done a TV movie I had done one as an actor. I had done none as a writer going into COVID. And I sold my first script in March of 2020.
Wow.
And I was like, well, there's no way that this is going to get made now. Like I sold it, I don't know, March 7th, right before. And they were like, no, we'd like to still develop it with you. And we will film it. It was a bridesmaid movie. And so it was a wedding movie. So it was a lot of cast. And they were like, we're going to have to make some changes because you can't touch anybody. You can only have the one kiss at the end that they're doing in plexiglass, no hugs. Like there's all of these regulations because it was the height of like COVID 2020 situation. So that happened in March. That went through development until July, and it got greenlit in July, and then went into pre-production and shot in October. And from there, it's just spiraled. And I just either out of optioned shopping agreements and selling, just had my 20th project.
Wow. So how do you write? How do you learn how to write? Did you in school, or?
I have never taken a writing class.
You looked at a script to see how they formatted or something?
Yeah. So I wrote my first feature film when I was a senior in high school, and it was at One Tree Hill meets Seven. Like it was absurd. And I actually found a copy. I wrote it as a Word document, and I found a copy of it during COVID in like its FedEx printout sleeve. And I read it, and it's awful, but like the dialogue's okay. And so I didn't know that I was a writer until like 2017. And I was really frustrated with acting. Things were not happening as quickly as I wanted them to. And my husband was like, you've always liked writing. Why don't you try? Why don't you write? Mm-hmm. So then in 2018, I wrote this pilot, and it went to a production company that was working with Amazon, and they liked it and they wanted me to expand it. and I didn't feel equipped to do that. So I called a friend of mine who I was like the funniest person that I knew, and we worked on it together, and it ended up not moving forward. But what that taught me was how to work with a studio, how to develop a show Bible, how to take notes, how to do what people look for in the market. Like, it was a very helpful experience. And then we were trying to get repped, but we weren't getting any bites on anything. And so I said, okay, well, I need to get something produced. And what's the lowest barrier to entry? It's these TV movies. And I actually had broken my tailbone the summer of July of 2019. And so I spent that like down period just watching these TV movies. And I would watch as many as I could a day, and I would break them down. How many characters, how many locations, how many scenes, how many days, like script days, how many, what happens, how do they handle, how many kisses, how, that kind of thing. And so I watched as many as I could for a couple of months. And then I started writing them, and I wrote 9 in 9 months, that second half. And so going into 2020, I had all of these scripts that I felt were pretty ready to go. And so the way that I would finish the script, and I would ask any of my actor friends that I could find if they would do a table read with me, so I could hear it out loud, so I could make edits, and so I could check jokes and that kind of thing. And then in 2020, I just started cold emailing producers, and I just didn't take no for an answer. I emailed like 216 people before I got my first yes.
So, tell us about that. You've got these scripts, and then what do you go to, like, a yellow pages or something, whoever
IMDb.
has the listing. What is it?
IMDb.
Oh, so you went there online.
Yep. And I like made a spreadsheet of this person, Mike Smith, has produced 5 movies. His company is Oh Brother. This person, Dan Smith, has made 17 movies. His company is Brother Oh, and whatever. And like, if I could find their email, I would have emailed them on this date, followed up on this date, followed up on this date. This was the response, that kind of thing. And I just kept going until somebody said yes.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is a great, I haven't heard a story like that. That is really good.
I mean, it was very difficult. But
I can imagine. I mean, all that work in a short period of time. And you really, you're focused on the TV movies.
only right now. I have other projects that are out in the world. I just had my first theatrical release project be optioned. I don't quite know what I'm allowed to say about it, so I'm going to be careful.
Right.
But it's going to be directed by a 90s TV.
Somebody we would know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just came from a table read of my next project. That's one of those like raunchy female comedy theatrical release.
Did you wear the boob sweater?
I didn't. I wore this. It's too hot for the boob sweater today.
Yeah.
So run down the specifics of the projects that, like, I know you got a trailer that just got released.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's the singles
guidebook, Love on the Reef, Love on the Retreat. We got those 3.
Yeah. And the singles guidebook is actually, well, at least according to IMDb, is coming out on Mike's birthday.
Yeah.
We have a release date?
October 15th.
It says October 15th.
It says October 15th.
Does it say
But
what
I think it said,
do
you had the year Dan?
No, I don't. I didn't focus.
See,
but look, you
Let's
can
see.
see she's on it.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had a release
She's
date.
tapping into her IMDb Pro account.
Literally.
Yeah.
I said it to him just because it was my birthday, and I said, "Oh, wow."
Yeah, October 15th. He's like, "Oh, okay. Got something in common with that release."
I don't see anything on here, but it might be on the
Yeah, I think I saw it on the app. That's where I looked it up.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
But
Yes.
then there's, you've got at least, I don't know, 6 or 7 in the upcoming, coming
Yeah.
soon or whatever
Yeah.
it says. Oh, there he is.
Coming soon.
Yep, there it is. October
Interesting.
15th. So
There it is.
Wow, you just made my day.
Hey. So
That's so cool.
So I know
Breaking
what I'll
news
be
here.
watching on that
yeah,
day.
breaking
Happy
news on
birthday.
Over There. That's right. Yes, exactly. It's an
I got
early
you
gift.
a movie.
Hey, and the check, I'll send you the address. We'll take care of all of that. No, so tell us about some of the movies and what's coming. And,
Yeah, let's get into the promotion mode here. Get that PR hat on.
Right, let's do it.
Bring it.
So we filmed the singles guidebook in Savannah at the end of last year. And it stars Megan Kaiser and Philip Boyd, and they are both incredibly talented, amazing, nice, lovely people. And it was produced by Sunshine Films Florida, and Real One Entertainment, which is just, they're the best. Jacobo and Damien I love working with them so much. They are who also did Love on the Reef. And so I guess that's coming out on October 15th. And that's about a content creator who works at a BuzzFeed type place who's trying to get her own column. And she goes through a breakup, and her boss is like, use that. And I want you to chronicle your adventures in singlehood. And she is having a hard time breaking into the single scene. And her neighbor is chronically single. And he runs a nonprofit arts program for kids. And so she agrees to promote him on the BuzzFeed type site if he will help her on her singlehood journey. And they end up falling in love and some antics. And yeah, it's one of the most fun projects that I've written. There's a cooking class and a salsa dancing class, and there's all kinds of like really fun things that they do. Also, it was filmed in Savannah, which is the best.
Is it personal? Is your writing like about you? Like if we watch your movies, are we like, didn't know we know you danced, but
yeah, I don't think I've salsa'd for real, in my life. I think that this question is so hard because yes, of course, everything I write like has to have some part of me.
Yeah.
But I would say that of my TV movies, they all are, they're different shades. Whereas Molly in Singles Guidebook is coming out of her shell for the first time. And she's usually a behind the scenes gal. And that's just not me. I'm like a front and center. How you doing? You want to give me attention kind of person, you know?
But you have to be being the oldest of four.
Literally. And I'm the only one with brown hair and brown eyes who wasn't in band, didn't play soccer, and wasn't in Gifted. So like I had to stand out somehow.
Wow. Yeah. And we have an older sibling, and
yes,
they like to be the center of attention. Right?
We usually don't talk about that on Oh Brother.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole
It's not
show.
Oh Brothers.
Now, what about the your comedy side? Talk a little bit about Upright Citizens Brigade, how you got involved with that. And then I'm just curious, if you look at writing and then being in front of the camera, is there a preference of genre for either of those?
Comedy for sure. I'm not a drama gal. I can do it. I have done it. I'm way better at comedy. Like, let me be a little ridiculous. Big, crazy energy. And so what was the first part of the question? Because I was like, I have an answer to that. Comedy. Oh, UCB.
Yeah, UCB.
So I started at UCB in 2016, and it changed my life. And I don't know if it was I was just right place, right time, or if it was I genuinely needed what they were telling me. But like that was the place that I feel like I started to own who I was as an artist. And it was my first time I did the first Groundlings class and did not gel. It felt competitive. And then when I went to UCB, it was just a bunch of people trying to create the best story that they could together. And it was amazing. And so there I took, years of classes there. I was a part of a female team that was created there called the Gorgeous Ladies of Improv. And we performed at Second City. We also performed at UCB. And it was a place to go and try out things like, how can what you're giving me, am I receptive? Am I able to be receptive? Am I able to have no ego and say, okay, this is what they're asking, and I need to give them something back that they can use. Otherwise, this scene is dead. And so it's literally about saying yes to what the partner is, and saying yes to what the person is giving you, and giving them something back in return that they can play off of. And I think when I got out of my own way of like, I need to be the one who comes up with something funny. Sorry that I just bumped the table really hard. I need to come up with something funny instead of I need to keep this situation going and being heightened. That comedy really was something that clicked. And that helped me a lot in my writing.
Yeah, it's like, wrestling with your ego a little bit, I suppose. And, but
what
it's
about
really
stand up? You ever try stand up?
I am working on it.
Oh.
Yes, that is my thing that if I don't do before I leave this earth, I will be very disappointed. I have multiple sets. I've taken joke writing classes.
Nice.
Haven't.
It's terrifying because I've done it for a couple of years. I did it back in the day, and this is when there was comedy clubs everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, I'm getting in on this. So it's terrifying until you hit the mic. As soon as you say something, it's like it just washes away. And if they don't laugh, Dan came, he was too young to get into the club.
Love this story.
Yeah. So I brought him with me, and they said, okay, well, we'll open the door and he can stand by the door and listen. It was a full packed house.
And I was sitting out in the lobby, and just every now and then the door would swing open. Yeah. And I'd see Mike on stage.
Aww.
Yeah. So I come out of the door, and the first thing he says is, what happened? I just totally bombed. It was the worst set I ever did.
Dead silent.
Dead silence. And we laughed so hard on the way home about it. It was like, that was my biggest fear. And it was like, look at us, like in tears laughing. Yeah. And then my older brother, who I could have cared less, came to a show. And of course he could get in, and they, the place was going crazy. And I get off, and he's like, he almost had the same reaction. Like, oh, really? I didn't know you were funny.
Yeah, okay. Good on you.
So,
I know this is a few years ago now, but I had come across, well, it's actually, I think it's on your website, but can I just say that the Geico commercial that you were in with, what is it called? Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this, you have to go to YouTube and look it up, or just go to your website and check it out. It's so funny. I love that. But you clearly have the comedy chops.
It is my favorite part of like being alive is comedy. And this project that I table read right before this, something that I can't totally dive into, but it was something that I went for it on the jokes, that I'm like, can I add a tampon string somewhere? Can we put can I put in the most ridiculous, unlikable things? Like, can I accidentally kill a character? Like, can I do this in the most ridiculous? And I did. And sitting here, like the actors that did the table read today were incredible. And it was so funny. And I'm like, okay, that's something that I want to lean more into, because doing TV movies, like your sandbox is really small, and you have to work within them. And I just did a movie as an actress. I didn't write it. As twins.
Yes, opposites attract.
Yes, opposites attract. And so one twin is hilarious. And she was my favorite to play, because the director was like, just go, like, do it. Like, be lazy. Do lazy things. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I will. And so it was really fun to get to lean into that in this world that's usually so black, white, and maybe a little bit of gray,
That must have been a great to play two.
Yeah.
Two parts of this,
Yeah.
It just sounds like a great thing.
It's like what Van Damme and was it Double Trouble?
Yeah, don't bring that up.
Remember back when the effects weren't quite as good. Yeah, no, that's way many years ago.
Everybody says Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap. I'm like, yeah,
that's right.
20 years older than her, but
I'm curious. You talk about. Think about what's going on, or what's been going on out in the media with some of these comedians and performers that have been like getting attacked on stage, and the whole cancel culture thing and all that. So I'm curious, like, where are you at with that whole thing? Do you think, can you go too far?
Yes, I definitely think you can. I think I had a friend who was fired from a show for some tweets, and that he wrote 10 years ago that were funny then, and I read them and was like,
cringy.
Ouch.
Yeah, like that was bad then too. Like that was not. And so my style of comedy is mostly on TikTok, and it's mostly about having sweaty hands.
Yeah, right. Well, and you mentioned that at the top, But if shed a little light on that, if you would.
Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I have had hyperhidrosis my whole life. Like if I hold it up, I don't know if you can see it. I have my hand towel like with me I'm like a football player. I have them around the house. I'm also literally always wearing socks. And my nickname is Sweaty Hands Ans. And in college, I had a doctor's note that had to be turned in with my Scantrons because my hands would bleed through the Scantron, and then the Scantron reader couldn't detect whether my answers were correct or not. So I had to have my test graded by hand, which is the only reason I got as high of grades as I did, because I was like, if some poor TA is going to have to grade my 200 question test by hand, I'm going to make sure that it's worth their time.
Right.
So I've had this my whole life. And it wasn't until, I don't know, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I really started embracing it, because I was embarrassed about it for a very long time.
Sure.
When I was younger, doing dance and cheerleading, and gymnastics, I got my splits really quickly because I couldn't hold myself up because my hands and feet were sweaty. So I just like on the mat. And I was just always like the damp girl. And I learned how to adapt, how I have like high absorbent outfits. I call them HAOs. And so when I'm doing something like a big meeting, I'll wear my pair of jeans that I know my sweaty hands will not show through, because I can't show up with a hand towel. Now I will. My rap gift on Opposites Attract was hand towels that say sweaty, that were monogrammed with Sweaty Hands Ans. So I just embraced it. But the way the TikTok started is my commercial agent was like, we're getting a lot of deals for our cute all-American girls who do comedy, and that's you. So can you do that on TikTok? And I was like, no, I don't have anything to say. Like, the people who make comedy TikTok videos are so funny, and I'm not that funny. Like, I don't know what I would say. And then I don't know if I was like drinking wine or something, but I pitched it to my husband where I was like, okay, so how do we feel about this? I'm going to become the internet's damp goddess. And he was like, what?
Please say more.
Yeah, he was like, what do any of those words mean together? I was like, I'm going to put Sweaty Hands Ans on TikTok. My whole stand-up routine is on hyperhidrosis. And then I have a pilot called Sweaty Hands Ans. And the show is about embracing how we all have these things that we either want to hide, or we want to change, or we want to whatever, but there are these things that make you unique. Like, I can seal an envelope without licking it. I can get rid of makeup. Like, I had mascara all over my face right before this, and I just went like this and like got it off, like I have because I have wet wipes and with fingers. So the show is about that, and embrace, and like the comedy, obviously, that comes with that, but saying you are enough and amazing and magical. And just because other people don't have sweaty hands doesn't mean you need to do anything to change it. Because my whole life, I was put on Dryasol when I was younger, and my armpits used to have it really bad too. And Dryasol back then, it's different now, but back then you would put on the medicine, you would blow dry it, and then my mom would saran wrap it in, and then you'd sleep in a tight t-shirt. This is like how I started high school. This is why I'm funny, because this is ridiculous. And then the next day you wake up and you wash it off, but you can't like shower really, but you have to get the medicine off a little bit. And then it lasts for like maybe 12 hours. And then the next, you're like sweating through your shirt again. And growing up in Florida. What?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, growing up in Florida, like that's a lot of humidity. That's a lot of sweat. And when I was in 6th grade, my cheerleading squad had these windbreaker jackets, and I would wear my windbreaker every day. Did not matter if it was 105 degrees outside. I had my windbreaker on. I would just push it up because the windbreaker didn't show sweat. So I could wear my cool Hollister or Abercrombie & Fitch shirt that I couldn't normally wear because I'm so sweaty. And it made it work. And I think that, the reason that TikTok resonates with people is because I'm coming on here saying like, hey, I got it. And it's okay. And if you have it too, and I made this one, I got my nails done for the first time in a very long time. And my hands were like dripping, and I left a little puddle on the table when you take them out of the lamp thing. And my nail tech was so nice about it. And she was like, do you need a fan or whatever? I was like, I have a towel in my purse. Hold on. But I like filmed a little bit of it and I put it on TikTok, and some of the comments are people were like, I don't get my nails done because I'm so embarrassed by this. And like, how did you handle it? And I answered like some of those questions in videos and saying like, these are my tips for how I handle, because it is something that like, I'm sorry that I'm literally going to get body fluid all over you. Thank you for painting my nails. Like I'm going to.
But to see, that's the thing. You can either embrace it or
Yeah.
like, I'm surprised. Like I would think back in high school, it would have been something that was so, you would have been so self-conscious of it.
Yes.
You couldn't have talked about it. So
Yes.
it's great that you were able to embrace it. And actually, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, I was going to
can't
say, do you
believe
have
it."
a sense of how many people are that live with that?
I have no idea.
I started to look up because I hadn't heard of it until, sort of delving into your bio. But yeah, I think it's really courageous to come out and talk about it. Very important. And, what you've got over millions of views on TikTok.
Yeah.
So
And the comments are all so nice of like, thank you for sharing this. I thought I was alone. And like people tagging other people of like, and
great.
It's so, yeah. And I want to make more. I just haven't had time to do them. But like, because it is a thing that can feel so debilitating. I remember when I first moved to LA and I was signed with this big manager and I was doing like the water bottle tour and meeting everybody. I was so embarrassed to shake hands because like my hand will drip. Like if I'm on the phone, it will literally like droplet down my hand if I don't have a towel. And if I'm in a meeting or any sort of like mildly warm or stressful situation, it's like full on Aqua Girl here. I can water your plants.
So anxiety does bring it on, or
mine is waking hours. So if my butt, like mine stops at about 10 p.m. And it doesn't matter if I am doing an overnight shoot at 10 p.m., they will stop and I will have dry hands until about 6 a.m.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's so weird.
I have real warm body temperature and I was married for a while. I'm not divorced now, but I couldn't get under the covers with my wife, or I would just get really sweaty and I would like soak her. And I tried to explain it and she'd always think it was her. Oh, what is it about me that you won't get under the covers? I'm like, no, it's not that. It's just, I get really hot. And even like when I was in San Diego, there's not air conditioning out there.
Yeah.
Like there was in Florida.
Yeah.
And, I used to have fans just all over my room, like 6 fans just pumping on me.
Yeah.
But Dad's looking like, that's a great story, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I always sit here and go, well, there's always editing. It's called post-production is what we call it. Right, Ansley? So let's circle back because we can't keep you all night, but let's, I do want to make sure that you sort of get out there with, all the projects that you want to promote, how people can find you.
Yeah.
So
we know TikTok now. I'm going to go check you out on TikTok.
If you want to look at sweaty
damp goddess
videos.
Hey, gotta see that.
I have 2 other movies besides Singles Guidebook that are upcoming as an actress. And one is Love on the Reef that I wrote and starred in. And my dad is also in, and my little sister is in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so that was really cool to get to have family be in that one. And I came up with the idea for that movie while I was in the Florida Keys with my parents and my siblings. And so to have it come full circle of getting to star in it and have them be in it was amazing. And then the second one is called Love on Retreat. That was directed by Britt Underwood. And
soon to be on the Oh Brother podcast.
Yes, soon to be on the Oh Brother podcast. Did she text me back? No, she hasn't texted me back.
Yeah, it was a middle finger emoji, right? That's what
she would never. She would never. Or maybe she would. I don't know. Yeah, but that one is a fun comedy. It's a rom-com, but there are more comedic elements, and it's about a girl who's trying to get past the millennial stuck of being an assistant, and she falls in love with her boss's brother, and it's cute and fun. Nice. And yeah, that was a great experience.
Good.
That one. Yeah.
One last thing for me is, I've seen the writing, the acting, but I was looking for directing. Is that something you're interested in, or?
Eventually, yes, it is something that I would like to do. The plan is for Britt and I's show for me to direct an episode at least of that. for, I'm going to pause because my husband's walking in. It's going to beep.
Oh, it's the Ginger God.
Yeah, you want to meet him?
Yeah.
Bring him in
meet him.
Brian!
It's the Ginger God.
Brian!
Now, this is going to be,
they would like to meet you.
This might be a rom-com right here between me and Brian.
Yeah, yes.
We got our own, this is Love on the Oh Brother podcast. It's a new movie coming out starring Ansley Gordon. He's like, I thought you were going to be done with that.
I know. Wait, honey. Brian.
Yeah,
he's like hiding behind a box.
I'm not falling for that Oh Brother podcast.
Because he used to be an actor and he has left. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in Perks of Being a Wallflower. He was on Glee.
See, oh,
really?
You know, the Ginger God.
Brian,
the hair is so on point. Wow. Look at this.
He used to be an actor because you have a look.
He does.
You know, when somebody snaps your picture, you say a lot with your face. You know.
Oh, you're on mute, Ansley.
Sorry.
Oh,
there it is. There it is.
I was just saying, you guys, you know what? I would love every time I come home, there's just two guys, like, guys, your jawline looks fantastic. I'd be like, God damn, all right. You guys are right. Thank you.
You'll have to check out the beginning of the episode because we were laying
all
down some
fangirling over you.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. I said it's like Conan and then Brian. Like there's a real it's very close.
Guys,
that's good stuff.
This hype man crew I've ever had. Thank you.
Well, we're not going to keep your better half long, but we were just about to wrap up. It's great to see you.
Nice to meet you, and thank you for taking time with this lovely lady.
She's great. She's fantastic.
It's been
lucky guy.
Sweaty and having an arm brace.
So I'm sure you guys seen her move around, but occasionally she has to hold it up, and I feel like what she's doing the LeBron. You know, just like
oh yeah, that's right.
The drainage. Yeah. Where are you guys based, by the way?
What's that?
Where are you guys based?
I'm in Orlando area, and Mike is up in Boston.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So,
yeah, I'm about 10 minutes from Disney, so Ansley, of course, knows the area quite well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We did some reminiscing and going down memory lane with some of that. So
very cool. And it was nice meeting you both. And by the way, I've been to Boston many times. I've my family was from that area. My uncle was a teacher there in the area, so we always was back. I hope you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I can see you washed out the accent completely.
He's from Detroit.
I'm from Detroit personally.
Yes.
He's like milk.
Oh,
right.
Milk.
Right.
The Midwest, I suppose.
Yeah.
Proper way of saying it. But it was nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, thanks for popping in.
You.
All right, take care.
Bye, Brian.
Bye, guys.
Sorry that I made fun of your milk.
That's all good.
Wow. Okay. Be still my beating heart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. See, he's laying it on now. All right. Wow. That was sorry, Ansley. I just had to take a moment there.
Dan's getting a little
Yeah, I had a little flutter there.
Yeah, Dan's gonna need his own towel pretty
soon. Right, exactly. I've got my own perspiration going on here. But so listen, Ansley, it has been, we've been fortunate. The folks that we've had on the show have been so genuine, so interesting. You're just raising the bar. It's been really nice talking to you and getting to know more about your background, your experience, the projects you've got coming up. Where can people find you online, like your website and your Instagram? Because you're pretty active there too.
Yes, my Instagram is at Ansley Gordon. And my website is ansleygordon.com. And then on TikTok, it's Sweaty Hands Ans.
All right. Sweaty Hands
We'll have those up in the
one and only.
So.
The damp goddess, folks.
The damp goddess.
Ansley, thanks for being on the Oh Brother podcast. I have to say, Mike, I think you agree. This interview was the tits. I think it was the tits.
I think so.
Ansley,
thank you guys so much for having me. This is awesome.
All the best. We hope you'll come back on the show at some point, and would love to talk to you again.
Yeah,
yes,
we look forward to seeing your upcoming stuff. So can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Great talking to you. Take care.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow.
This is nice. Jeez.
Amazing.
Why?
We're so lucky here.
People are gonna be like, they always get all these hot
We're
babes.
so lucky here at the Oh Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just wow. And you know what's great is I don't know if you realize this, but she just heard you call her a hot babe.
Oh, why was she still on?
She's in the green room right now.
Oh, geez. See, you
Yeah,
gotta
she
tell
refuses. She refuses to leave.
You gotta tell me these things.
She's worried about what I'm going to say about Brian. She's like, I don't know. This guy is all over my significant other here. I'm not sure what I feel about that.
The panic I was going through at 8:00.
Oh, I totally trust me.
It
And
just went dead. It just
you don't know
went
this.
dead.
Yeah, you don't know this, but I jumped on because she was right on time.
Right.
And I brought her into the stream and I said, hey, just FYI, I sent you an email. Mike is having some tech issues. I said, I know he's freaking out right now. I said, but you and I are going to come up with an improv skit based on this comedy gold because it was just too good. Every week you give me something good. I love it.
How was the?
That's why I love you. We're still recording,
Okay. Was it? Were we having the problems like we had last time?
We're still on the air, folks. This is still a live show here.
Yeah, I know.
So let's go to a smooth wrap up, and then we can have your technical discussion.
All right.
Afterwards.
Well, you do the wrap up. So
well, I mean, just to say, wow, Ansley was just fantastic.
Brian will be on next time.
Well, Brian on next time. Perks of being a wallflower and Glee. I mean, you gotta go back and look at Brian's resume.
I've seen Perks, so
just a great. What a great spirit. And I love, that she talked about the hyperhidrosis and how she's been active with talking about that on TikTok. I mean, that's important.
When she said, in high school, I was like, man, I would think, young girls in high school, they get so worried about every little thing.
Right.
That had to be tough. But
it had to be tough. But God, what an attitude.
She dealt with it like,
She just, Well, she seems to be, she's one of those like small but mighty. She's just got this fighting spirit. The way she talked about, people that are successful, especially in this business, it's the persistence and I won't take no for an answer. I mean, that's what sets someone like her apart from others.
It was fascinating about the writing and then just getting on the website and sending her stuff. That's unbelievable. I know when I used to what's up?
I just realized I forgot to get her top 5 films.
That's twice in a row.
That's twice in a row. We might need to give up the ghost on that.
Epic fail there.
Epic fail. Yeah.
All right.
Well, top 5 films can be like the 5 films she's got coming out one after the other here in the next couple of months. But so listen, Ansley Gordon, actress, writer, producer,
soon
dancer,
to be president,
gymnast, president of all things great. Anyways, just a fantastic interview. Really love talking to her. So if you're not currently following her, make sure you go out and follow her on Instagram. Check out her website. She's got a great bunch of reels out there, different like comedy reel, drama, all her commercial work, which she's done quite a bit of. I had stumbled on that Geico commercial, which just made me laugh out loud. It was so good. She's very sort of understated in it, but it's just, those Geico commercials are so great anyways.
Right.
But it's perfect for, it's getting to know her a little bit in the interview. I could say, I could see why they cast her in that, but check her out. She's got tons of projects coming your way. And again, we just struck gold again on the Oh Brother podcast. So, but that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother podcast. If you are not currently following us, make sure that you do. And the easiest way to do that is to go to our official website, which is ohbasandbrotherpodcast.com.
It's right there.
It's ohbpodcast.com. It's going to be in the feed there. We'll make sure that our wonderful interns put that information on the screen. Go to our YouTube channel, like our videos out there, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our episodes that come out. Appreciate the support. We keep growing out there, so that's been exciting. We're on all podcast platforms, so you can stream us anywhere that you get your podcasts. And hopefully you're doing that with this interview of Ansley Gordon. Man, that was just great stuff. Good stuff. Well, it's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother Podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.